Virgo, let's start with your reading. Today, we are going to look into your recent past, your present, and your immediate future. Keep in mind that in general readings, energies go both ways. Feel free to interpret the direction of the messages as it best resonate with your own personal situation. Now, let's begin with your reading. Okay. All right, Virgo. I definitely see what's going on here. But first of all, the energy at the bottom of the deck, the main energy for the reading is the Two of Pentacles reversed. And right here, I just see that you're making yourself extra busy, Virgo. With work, with family, with your everyday life. You're thinking about projects, thinking about taking care of yourself. But one of the reasons why you might be doing this is to not think about something or not think about someone at the moment. Something that possibly still represents an open wound for you, given these energies right here. There is a need to distract your mind so that you don't have to revisit certain memories and certain thoughts. But I'm sure you'll agree with me on the fact that this is not sustainable. And this level of control eventually becomes really exhausting. So let's see what's going on. In your recent past, we have the Eight of Swords, the Four of Cups, and the Lovers. Now, especially with this Four of Cups, we clearly see that there is something which you're trying to ignore right now. Obviously, this could be you or someone around you, but I can't deny that the Four of Cups is a card that comes up very often for you. There is something here that you're trying to not focus on because you might perceive it as a lot to handle, or you might perceive it as something that is not really changing right now. Therefore, you might be thinking, well, I've looked into this. I know what this is about. There's nothing more that I have to find out. It is what it is, and I'm just going to ignore it until it's completely gone. I'm going to wait it out. But what you might be failing to see with this Eight of Swords is that this is not something you get over, Virgo. This is something you get through. And if you don't do it the right way, you might get stuck into this. You might end up carrying this for much longer than you should. You know what the issue is here? Sometimes we think that we are looking into a certain situation again because deep down we want to go back to it. We are afraid to look into it because then it's like admitting to ourselves that we don't have an alternative to it, that we don't have other options available. But that's not always the case. Sometimes we have to acknowledge certain feelings, certain thoughts, not because we have to revisit the situation, but just because we need to process those thoughts and minimize them, strip them away from their power. This is that snowball coming down the mountain, that snowball that started very small, but that will grow in size unless something stops it. And that's what will happen if you ignore it. It will keep growing, giving you headaches and impacting you more than it should. Right here, we see that you're perceiving this thought, this situation as you giving love to someone. But the Lovers, it's not just loving someone else. The Lovers is about loving yourself as well. And looking into this love that you once had doesn't mean that you're going to fall in love with the other person again. It means that you have to give yourself that love that right now is necessary for you and for your growth. So don't ignore that. But let's do this together. Let's look into this Four of Cups and let's see what it is at the moment that you have to process, minimize. Right here in the present position, we see everything and we see you right in the heart of the reading. And guess what you're looking at here? At this Three of Swords. We are taking one step back from the 4 to the 3, and we are ending up on this 3 of Swords. It's not hard to see what it is that you're trying to ignore at this moment. But there is something you don't know about this 3 of Swords. You are, in fact, mistaking it for something else. And bear with me on this one, Virgo. First of all, this is a situation or a person who in time became very important for you. At some point, you might have thought that you were going to spend the rest of your life with them. And it's always very hard to come back from that mindset because you start seeing that person as an extension of you, as if they were an arm or a leg, you know? And now it's really much about rebuilding your identity, and it takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. Don't be too hard on yourself. The process of rebuilding your identity, in the process of rebuilding your identity, you will feel maybe weird at times. You might experience sadness, anxiety, but you need to realize that this 3 of Swords feeling is not that previous heartbreak anymore. You might be feeling this way just because you are trying to find your direction. You're trying to rebuild that independency and balance. And the two might feel similar at times, but they are very different. And it's important for you right now to be able to differentiate one from the other. Once you process this 3 of Swords and you see it for what it really is, you're going to feel as though you got this. You're going to feel as though there is nothing you're leaving behind, which is a fundamental part of you. This feeling is not about that. It's just about not knowing what comes next. And honestly, that's a fear that we all experience at some point. It's not a blocker. And in fact, I can tell you that you're about to get to a point where you will be barely able to remember why you wanted this person in the first place. I can assure you of that. You're going to feel as though you're finally gaining that new identity. And going back to the past will not even feel like an option anymore. It will not feel like you anymore. You will start seeing all the things that this person was doing wrong, how they were always testing you, demanding things, giving very little back to you, Virgo. This is someone who you're going to see for who they really were. Someone who was keeping score when they were doing things. Always ready to point out your mistakes and thinking perhaps that they were perfect, you know? Potentially for some of you, someone who was also revengeful. Listen, the more I look into this person, the more I can see that you're better off without them and that you can do much better and that you will do much better. This is looking beautiful down here. In your near future, we have the Ace of Pentacles, beautiful, the Wheel of Fortune, Death, Rebirth. I mean, this is where things get interesting for you, Virgo. Look at this beautiful Wheel of Fortune especially. This is an expected new beginning, an expected turn of events, which will bring a rush of endorphins, excitement. What is this? Now, these cards talk about learning your lesson. It talks about breaking a cycle and finally heading towards a time of good fortune, happiness. We will see what this is about and what this means for your near future. But overall, you should now understand how important it is to look into your feelings and thoughts every single time. Because when you neglect them, they become something else. They transform and they become something big that it's hard to get through. Instead, you should do this right away, Virgo, even when it sucks. Trust me, I am not one of those people who would like to look through every single feeling. I would rather focus on work, just like you, Virgo. But it's important to never ignore them, because the most important thing is not shielding yourself from feeling things. The most important thing is learning how to step into those feelings, controlling the power you give to them, and dress them with your own meaning, or better, Dress them with your new meaning. Don't forget that you're always in control, even when you think you're not. So Virgo, there is a lot going on here. It's clear that something new is coming your way. I can see it with this Wheel of Fortune especially. And you will finally be able to breathe out, to feel good. Receiving some confirmation or news that will make you feel as though you are on the right path, not feeling lost anymore. 9 plus 1, 10 of Pentacles. This is great news. You're now going to feel as though you're moving forward and moving towards happiness again. This is looking pretty good, Virgo, for you after all. So let's dive deep into it in order to understand what this is bringing to you in the near future, and in order to understand how it's going to evolve in the next few months ahead. Let's look into it. If you want to dive deeper into the messages, Virgo, just follow me and the extended reading link below in the description box. Also, don't forget that every single week I randomly select viewers who have watched the extended video to offer them a 100% free personal live reading. This week, I'm also offering birth charts. We're going to look into your birth chart, and the reading will be 45 minutes long. I send out emails every Monday morning. Make sure to check out your spam folder as well. Now, stay tuned for the extended preview coming right up after this. Welcome back to your extended reading, Virgo. The bridging energy taking us from this current situation to the incoming events is the Three of Cups. And this is a card that talks about celebration. This is a card that talks about a very happy news coming in, which you'll want to celebrate. You'll want to share with your closest friends and family members so that they can really experience this moment with you. I don't know what this is yet, but it clearly brings growth in. It brings a time where you can finally forget about the worries and where you will finally be able to feel as though you have completely detached from this chapter of your life. And that alone is a victory in itself, because what you went through, it was something very deep, very hard to detach from, but you're doing it and you're about to succeed, not just because of your strength, but also because of some good news coming your way. And so let's look into the future of this situation, and let's start by clarifying this Ace of Pentacles, good news energy coming your way in the near future. Let's look into it. Oof. These are a lot of cards, but I'm gonna get the first one, Justice. Let's get two more. Oh, Ace of Pentacles again, and the Chariot. This is, oh my God, this is redemption right here. This is a moment of extreme happiness, but extreme satisfaction as well. And something that will truly put things back into balance, and something that it's really going to help you on your new journey, on your new chapter. So what is this? First of all, we see this Justice.